Happy Monday, beautiful people. Yes. It's Monday, February 23rd, 2026. And welcome to our lovely show, Damian and Damian. Woo-hoo. Yes. We hope you had a good weekend, or at least a weekend where you didn't check your email, right? Right. And hold on, you guys. Oh my gosh. There is something really in my eye right now. Oh my gosh.
You just hate that when someone just in your eye.
I know, you just hate that shit. I tried to read that for you guys as possible as I can, but oh my gosh. Okay. But as I'm doing this, Tobias, how was your weekend?
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't the best and it wasn't the worst. So that's all I can say about that.
I heard that.
The weekend just goes by so fast.
I know it does.
And then you're back, to the week. Like it's just Monday all over again.
I know I feel like we just had Monday, right?
Right.
And I feel like during the week it goes by slow, right? But then on the weekends
it goes so fast.
I don't get that.
I don't either.
I don't get that. Is there some type of logic or some type of something with that? Because during the week it goes slow, which I don't understand. Because we want the weekend to come so quickly,
right?
And then when the weekend is here, it's back to Monday again. Like, what the heck?
Like, we just want to enjoy our weekend, but
exactly. Oh my goodness gracious.
Anyways,
tell me about it.
Well, because Monday shows up with demands and no warning. But we're glad you're here with us because today's conversations are already stirring the group chat. Okay? All right, parents, how do we feel about this using bribery as a parenting tool? In a New York Times article, an author and mom said she paid her daughter $100 to read a novel, and it worked because her daughter finished the book in less than a week, and she asked to read the sequel, no extra charge. So, what do we think? Is bribing kids an okay strategy?
Yeah. That's why I have to say, I don't understand these parents and also these young parents out there. Bless your hearts, first of all, bless your hearts, because they want to. I think we could talk about this on the show before maybe, but I don't like when parents try to be best friends with their child. I don't like that. That's a no deal for me.
Because
go ahead.
Because your role as a parent is to be a parent, and then your child is the role of being a child. So you're supposed to have a parent-child relationship, not a parent/best friend or a child/best friend relationship.
Right, exactly. Speak on that because you took the words out of my mouth, because I was clearly about to say that, because children, I'm gonna just set an example because we have friends close to our age, right? We don't have friends as adults, let me first as older people, because I feel like this is coming with me. This was me, like, I'm not best friends with our mother. Because she's my mother, right? I'm the child.
Exactly.
I'm not supposed to be, here and there, doing this or that, right? I know some people out there, if you're friends with your mother, that's cool. That's cool. But with me, no, because I respect my mother, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm the child, right?
And you're supposed to be a child.
Right. Now, yes, I know, I'm getting older, right? But that doesn't change.
No, because you're still a child.
I'm still the child, right? I'm supposed to do as what our mom tells us, right? There's no ifs and buts about it. I'm gonna be like, oh girl, you playing. If I say that to our mom, she will slap the taste out of my mouth. And I feel like, that's how some of these kids are talking to their parents. Like, what?
Like, all right, girl, or what's up, boy?
Excuse me? That's your mom and your father. And you're talking to these young parents. They want, the gimme. Like, I'm
so greedy.
So greedy. It's just like, okay, well, here, I give you this tablet if you be quiet for 5 minutes. Oh, the child is quiet. No. Discipline your... See, we gotta go back to the basics, you know, we gotta go back to the basics. You got to discipline your child. Y'all, this is not a funny manner. We have to discipline our children because we see how our children are out here into the world today. It just breaks my heart. It just truly breaks my heart. It's just.
Because being all loving dovey 24/7 and then you just get away with it, that's not how it's gonna work. Because it's not gonna work that way.
Exactly, because you're not gonna get away out, you know, into the world.
Exactly. If the parent is not doing what they're supposed to do with their child or children, that's just that.
It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. So, beautiful people, let us know. Is it okay to bribe kids? Is it? Let us know. Let us know, because
now you can be this with your parent, but not like as besties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for that. And I was watching one of our favorite people, Savannah Chrisley podcast the other day. Her mom, Julie, she was on it, and I love them both. I really do. But yeah, they claim, well, Savannah said that, and also that they claim they're best friends. Ugh. Well, that works for the Chrisley family. Okay, it works for them. But I feel like, okay, it's a no for us. It's a no for us.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move. I cannot really see this, so let me put back on my glasses.
Yeah, because you can and you're going to get the glasses.
Thank you, Damaya. Okay, so all right, so this one never dies right here. So a post went viral asking a simple question that turned into chaos. Yes, and the question is this. Should men have female friends? Oh, we're going there. Some people say it's healthy and necessary, and others believe it invites temptation, confusion, or cross boundaries, especially when relationships are involved. Yeah, so is the issue friendship or lack of boundaries? And can maturity really exist without trust? What do you think? Should men have female friends?
I hear this question so many times.
Me too. And before you answer, I had this conversation with my two best friends, Brian and Prince TJ. We had this discussion, and boy, it was heated. I tell you that. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Should men have female friends?
I want to hear what you have to say after what I have to say first.
Okay.
This is my opinion. I say yes. You see, look at you right now.
No, I'm just shaking my head.
Okay. I feel as if yes, but I know there are some jealous people that feel as if no, because I feel as if something can happen between a male and female friend that will lead to something more, but you just have to be careful of what you do.
Can you please look at me? Because we said this last time.
Once again, I'm looking at myself. I'm looking good, but I'm sorry.
I said this last week, y'all.
But anyways, I mean, like,
and you're right.
Well, Lord have mercy. You see, he always got something to say, y'all. Yes. So I guess now I have to talk like this. With Damian. So Damian, okay, no, but in all seriousness, like with me, I have male friends. Well, just a couple, and I think it's healthy. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I feel as if yes, you should have female friends, but you just have to be careful of your actions or what you do. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Damaya, you quite changed my mind quite a little bit, because I see where you come from, because there comes, just like, I just read this here where it's, says, cross boundaries, when relationships are involved. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful. For me, should men have female friends? I must say yes, they should. Because the last time I answered this, I said no. And now I disagree with what I said. Because I feel like, everything, excuse me, everything that you just said, because we need to, have different outlooks, have different perspective, right? Into our circle, right? Because it can't just always be okay. Like if you're a male, you can't just have male.
I was just thinking that
you have to have females involved as well. Then also with females, you can't just always have women peers. You need to add some males into it as well.
It's like
a balance, right?
Yeah, it's like a what's the word? The yin yang, like men and women should come together. It can't just be, all males on one side and all females or like we have to come together, We have to cooperate, you know what I'm saying?
Cooperate, the thing with cooperate, because when we have these, combos and stuff, if we have just, just one stick of the ginger together, like, I mean, yeah, that can be good in some situations, but then we also need to, hear from other perspectives as well, from other gingers, so we can even have even more conversations, with that. So I feel like, yeah, it can be healthy and very necessary, but then you have to be careful if you're friends with, a female or if you're friends with a man, because, there might be, feelings to come across.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out.
Later down to the road, if let's say, you've been friends, I'm gonna just say for just like 4 years, and then all of a sudden, I'm gonna say the male is starting to feel feelings for his female friend. Oh, you gotta be careful with that right there, because I feel like, well, then there comes a point like, should you tell? I feel like you should tell your female friend that if you're starting to feel these tensions, these feelings, you should tell up front. Don't wait and don't try to, dim around it, because then your friendship is going to become.
It's going to, crash out.
It's going to crash out.
Yeah, fall apart.
If you don't express your feelings. If you keep it holding it in, it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly.
It's going to get ugly. So, beautiful people, let us know. Should men have female friends? This was a great convo.
Yeah, sure is.
Because I thought this convo was going to go upside down.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like an agreement, disagreement kind of situation, but okay.
But then there are also some people out there, probably some of our people who disagree with us. And that's okay. That's really fine. Because, we all have different opinions, different outlooks. So that's fine. That's fine. We don't want you guys to always agree with us. No, because half the time we don't agree with each other.
Sure don't.